What happened when I was dragged into court for something I didn't do, and even the judge didn't believe me? I was 16 when my world nearly collapsed. One stupid accusation, and suddenly I was sitting in a courtroom, branded a liar. It started with a missing laptop from the school library. The principal called me into her office one morning, her face stern. "Emily, you were the last one signed in. Where's the laptop?" My heart stopped. "I don't know. I returned everything." She folded her arms. "The log says otherwise." I begged her to check again, but she shook her head. "You'll have to face disciplinary action." The next thing I knew, the police were involved. Theft. At 16. My mom cried the entire ride to the courthouse. "Baby, just tell them the truth," she whispered. That's the thing I did, but no one listened. In court, the prosecutor painted me as a reckless teenager. She had opportunity. She had motive. The laptop disappeared under her watch. I shook in my seat. "I didn't steal anything. Please, you have to believe me." But when I looked at the judge, his expression was cold, doubtful, like he'd already decided. The prosecutor held up a printout. "Here's the sign-in sheet. Emily was last. Case closed." My mom buried her face in her hands. My lawyer whispered that things didn't look good. My chest tightened. I was about to be convicted of something I hadn't done. Then, just as the judge prepared to speak, the courtroom doors opened. A voice rang out. "Your Honor, please wait." Everyone turned. It was my English teacher, Mrs. Reynolds, clutching a folder. Her face was flushed, determined. The judge frowned. "Ma'am, this is highly irregular." She held up the folder. "Not if it clears an innocent student." The room buzzed. The prosecutor rolled his eyes. "What could you possibly add?" She stepped forward. "Security footage from the library." I asked for it myself when I heard Emily was accused. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. The judge gestured sharply. "Play it." Minutes later, the footage appeared on the screen. My heart hammered as the grainy video showed me walking into the library, returning a stack of books, and placing the laptop back on the cart. Clear as day. But then, another student entered minutes later. A boy from the basketball team. He looked around, grabbed the laptop, and slipped it into his backpack. The room exploded with murmurs. The prosecutor paled. This wasn't in the records." Mrs. Reynolds cut him off, "because no one bothered to check. Everyone just blamed Emily." Tears filled my eyes as the truth played out in front of everyone. For weeks, I'd been treated like a criminal. Now, finally, the proof was undeniable. The judge slammed his gavel. "Charges against Emily are dropped immediately." He turned to the prosecutor, his tone sharp. "Next time, do your job properly." Relief flooded me so hard, I nearly collapsed. My mom hugged me, sobbing, whispering, "I knew you didn't do it." As for the boy in the footage, he was arrested the same day. Turns out he'd stolen from the school before, but the damage lingered. Friends had avoided me. Teachers had doubted me. Even extended family whispered. And all because it was easier to blame the quiet girl than to look deeper. After court, Mrs. Reynolds hugged me. "Don't let them break you, Emily. The truth was always there, it just needed someone to fight for it." That moment changed me. I realized how quickly the system believes the loudest accusation, how little they listen to the accused. But I also realized something else. Sometimes one person's courage, the teacher who goes the extra mile, the one who refuses to accept easy answers, can change everything. Now, whenever I think about that day, I don't just remember the humiliation. I remember the moment the footage played, the gasps in the room, the shift when everyone finally saw me as I was. Not a thief, but a kid who told the truth all along. And I remind myself, even in the darkest courtroom, the truth can still walk through the door sometimes in the hands of someone you least expect.